this is the code that we have, and this is what it's doing. I'm sorry, I need to rebuild that. And this is, oh, duh, sorry. This is what we had, and that's what it was doing, right? It's going up. So what we're going to do is slightly change this just a little bit. And so we're going to say Comic Con dot up and down is going to be times time. So it's going to calculate that first, and then that's going to be times Comic Con up and down speed. And we hit edit. So now, when we do this, it goes up and down a little bit faster, and it's working in a wave. And then we can change the speed and the amount so that we get a little bit of rock. Okay? Now, to finish this off, this, at least this small little part is, we're just going to take the comet, we're going to group it to itself, we're going to name this comet group, and all I'm going to do is, to keep it simple, is I'm just going to parent this to my Comic Con so that I can move it and scale it and do whatever I need to it. Now, let's create some particles. So what we're going to do, fx in particles, what I want is this. We want to create particles, and we're going to emit them. We're going to select our rock, and we're going to emit them from the rock. And we can leave it at Omni. We can leave all this as is for right now. We just hit create. And it's going to emit a particle for every vertex that is in this object.
Oh, so you don't like click a spot and just the particles just come out?
No, it's going to just, I do it for the whole object.
Okay.
Now you can see it's making the particles, and that's good, but they're not exactly the type of particles we need. So I'm going to go into our particles, Control A. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the type of particles that we have. So we have shading. These are clouds. That's actually the right one we need. I guess I changed it earlier, and I was just playing around. So let's go to our particle size. We have our radius. And what I'm going to do is input my max, randomize it, and also change the size of my radius. That still is a little small for what I need. And I'm maybe put this in at 50. And now because of, and I need to switch this from here, we need to switch to play refrain. Now, because this is, the emitter is an omni emitter, let's go ahead and change that. Well, actually, we don't really have to change that. We can leave it omni, and what we can do is this. We have gravity, really don't need to deal with it. Gravity direction is fine, but we have a couple of things. We have wind speed. Wind speed is just going in one direction, and what we can do is pump that up, make it go in the negative direction. And it starts to move some. And I think I'm going to go ahead and change the emitter as well too. So if I go here to my comet group, my comet, I have the trail. That's my emitter. We're going to change it from an omni to a directional. And we're going to, instead of going, we're going to go in the Y, the X direction. So we're going to go like negative, increase the speed, and definitely increase the spread. And I'm going to have to increase it more. And let's bring down the spread. I'm also going to go back to nucleus. I'm going to kill the wind speed for right now. So I was going in that direction. That's not quite what I want. So then let's adjust it. So that's Z. And when we get this, -10 should be X. But the particles are kind of just spreading out from it. Like that. And it could be because of my rotation. So if that's the case, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to select my particles and particle. We're going to go to fields, and we are going to create a, let's just do a uniform field. And we want to go in X, negative. And let's see what that does. Increase the magnitude. Let's do this. Let's get rid of the rotation. Let's turn it off right now. Okay. So the rotation is affecting it, and I guess because it is colliding with this. So let's see if we can do some stuff with it. I'm not so worried about it colliding with it at this point. And somewhere up here we got collisions. I'm going to turn off collide. That should make it go in that direction. And then I'm going to just turn on a little bit of the rotation again, and then that should take care of it. So it's still affecting it, still curving it. So let's do this. Let's cheat a little bit, shall we? So I have here, this is my trail. This is being emitted from this. And these are my particles that are being emitted from this. And probably what I can do is unparent this. Still being emitted. Or delete it. Then what I can do is create an emitter. I'll let it use the same nucleus. Create. This particle here I can't use. I don't want to use it. But I want to use my old particle with this. And we should be able to. Click on use selected emitter. And it's emitting from that emitter. And granted, this emitter is an omni. Hold on one second. Okay, never mind. I thought I lost my mind for a second. So we can go back here. Once again, we go to M particles, create emitter. We can delete the new particles it creates with it, select our old ones, select the new one, and we go to M particles, use selected emitter, turn that back into a directional, and we need to give it direction and speed, maybe a little bit of speed random. These new particles, we're also going to tell it not to collide. Oh no, they're not new particles, sorry. There we go. Now, that's what I have, and what we're going to do is give ourselves some more time. And what we're going to do is start affecting the lifespan, the shape, and all that. Right now, it's live forever. Probably give it a constant of like 20. And on the nucleus, we're going to kill the air density. Now on here, my new particle on the emitter, we're going to increase the max distance and the min distance from which it can be emitted from. We're going to increase the spread. Definitely want some more random speed. So we're getting that. I'm probably going to bring down the spread just a little bit. And what I'm going to also do is increase the size of the particles as well. So we have this here, and I need my particles to be bigger. We already talked about we can go to here. We can increase the radius. We have age, linear, and let's go ahead and say 300. And this is what they look like thus far. I want to make them a little bit bigger. Now, what I want to do is I want to start affecting what they look like. We have our surface shading, we have our opacity. Surface shading, I can ramp that up, render that. Might take it a minute or two. And this is what we get. Kind of out of the box. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And the other thing is, looking at this, I probably don't need to emit 100 particles per second. Generally what I like to do is cut this down. So maybe I'm doing 25 because of their size. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, we're going to go back to our shape, and we're going to affect their opacity by age. So we know we have this. So I'm going to have it kind of fade over time. So linear, we turn that to smooth. We'll select this one, turn it to smooth. And so probably I can do something like this. So it's full, and then it goes down. The other thing that I can do is affect this color by age. So let's say this one, I'm going to make it black. And then we turn that kind of into a yellow. Create another one, change its color to kind of darker orange. And we can do that. And then we can also, depth sort, I always like turn that on when it was the older clouds. The other thing too is radius scale input. Let's change that. We'll leave it as is. And then this one, And for some reason, my thing is not. There we go. There we go. That's better. Just wonder why I was a little bit funky. And it looks like it was just my incandescence. I was doing something wonky with that. So what I'm doing now really isn't necessarily a comet. It's more of a meteor.
Are comets like blue and some of the gold colors?
Yes. So if I wanted to do that because they're ice, but the ice, well, is there are releases of gases. So if I wanted to do that, then probably I'll look for something like that with a comet. And even that's probably where I would go with it, and definitely make sure.
Would you also not use like super saturated colors?
Um, yeah, but I'm not using super saturated colors. None of my colors are super saturated.
So it's best to just stay within like stay away from like super saturated and go for like something
Yes.
faded.
All right. Let me